including the 392, they have all the bells and whistles from a performance standpoint. So, you know, out of factory, if you're going to try and line up with a lot of these other V8s, on a consistent basis, you're going to see yourself on the tail end of a race. Okay, that's just the way it is. Alright guys, so we're going to talk a little bit about why you shouldn't get a 5.7. Now, for anybody that watches this channel, they know that I have a 2015 Charger RT with the 5.7 in there, and there's a healthy amount of videos showing just how much fun these things really are. And, you know, I'm going to mix it up for a change. You know, I constantly highlight how awesome they are, and now we're going to talk about, if you're looking into one of these things, what you can kind of expect and some of the negative about being a 5.7 owner. Whether you get the 5.7 in the Charger, the Challenger, you know, you get the RT, the Daytona, the TA. The 5.7 is certainly a very overlooked or looked down upon trim, okay, or engine within the Charger and the Challenger community. My first point is you're going to constantly be asked the question, why didn't you get a 392? Why didn't you get an SRT? Why didn't you get a Scat Pack? Why didn't you, basically get the performance-minded, naturally aspirated Hemi? And, even Dodge recognizes the 392 as the start of the performance lineup. When you look at commercials, when you look at their, when they're displaying new things, it's always the 392 and up. The 5.7 is basically the red-headed stepchild, okay? You have the V6, and then basically the 5.7 lives in between the V6 and the 392. And the 5.7 is a truck engine that got plopped in Chargers and Challengers. And yeah, certainly an engine that often gets overlooked. You either want that 392 or you're, and I have to admit, when I was looking, I was thinking 392 or bust. That was until I actually got into my car, and I haven't looked back since, but that's not the point. So the first point is that you're going to have to constantly engage in conversation as to why you purchased a Charger or a Challenger with a 5.7 as opposed to a 392. And, I can honestly say that there is a healthy cost difference. I'm guessing in some parts of the United States, maybe the difference isn't as large, but when you break it all down, there's a reason why there's so many more 5.7s on the road than there are 392s. And that is because 5.7, cars, after taxes and gas guzzler taxes and rebates and discounts and all that other good stuff, the cost of ownership is just so much lower in a 5.7. At least in the the New York area. I don't know where everybody else is from, but that's not the point. The point is that you're going to have a 5.7 and you're going to be asked the question, why didn't you get the 392? So that's number one. Number two is be prepared to mod your 5.7. Out of factory, there are very little performance modifications to the 5.7 on the Chargers and the Challengers. They did not set this engine up to be really a super performance-minded car. And the reason why is because if they put, the same headers that are on the 392 and the same cam and the same intake and the same tune, there just wouldn't be that big of a difference between the 5.7 and the 6.4. So that's one of the advantages of the 5.7, believe it or not, is that you could do these smaller modifications with a tune. And I'm not saying that you're going to beat or whatever a 392, but you're certainly going to wake it up. And out of factory, the 5.7 is a sleeper. Okay, it's a car that needs to be woken up. Whereas if you get yourself a lot of these other performance cars, including the 392, they have all the bells and whistles from a performance standpoint. So, you know, out of factory, if you're going to try and line up with a lot of these other V8s, on a consistent basis, you're going to see yourself on the tail end of a race. Okay, that's just the way it is. Out of factory, there's just not enough horsepower and torque to keep up with these other cars. Okay, when you look out, you know, you look at Ford, you look at Chevy, they're a lot lighter. They come with more horsepower. You know, I know there's Chargers and Challenger guys, RTs out there that beat the Fords and everything like that. And you know, kudos to you. You know, that's awesome. But, you know, these 2018, 2017 Mustang GTs and the Camaros, and I mean, they're pumping 450 horsepower and they weigh, you know, 600-700 pounds lighter. So, you know, driver skill always takes into effect and everything like that, you know. So, yeah, you know, be prepared if you want to get this 5.7 woken up and you want this thing to be a monster. You're going to have to put in a little bit of money to the engine. And let me tell you, the fastest 5.7 I've been able to come across runs in the 9s. Okay, so it's not like the 5.7 cannot be a beast. Okay, and if anybody has seen that cammed Ram that I ran, that thing is a monster. Okay, with what, an intake, a J Green cam, a torque converter. Yeah, I mean, ported throttle body. I mean, he has a lot of these little bolt-ons. Now a cam is not exactly a little bolt-on, but what I'm saying is that with a few modifications, you can really wake this 5.7 up, and it will be a monster. Okay, so you know, that's my best effort to dog the 5.7, guys. I really just I don't have the heart to really get on the 5.7 because it's been so fun for me. So, you know, I absolutely love my car. It's not going anywhere, but be prepared for some of the things that come up when you're a 5.7 owner. A lot of people, they overlook these cars. You know, they count them out. And they shouldn't, because let me tell you, a couple of small modifications and some traction, you're right there.